Lost and alone, a dangerous force has overwhelmed a once thriving city. Will you be able to overcome these dangerous invaders and solve the mystery that threatens two worlds? Industria is a first-person shooter where you play as Nora, a experimental scientist who at the start of the game finds herself transported to an alternate dystopian reality where strange machines have overrun the world. Your goal is to make your way through the game's various levels, searching for any possible survivors and potentially a way to escape. Like most contemporary first-person shooters, as you travel through each level, you'll be attacked by a variety of enemies and need to use your firearms to dispatch them. You may also be required to solve puzzles or throw switches in order to remove obstacles in your path. You can also explore the area looking for health or ammo pickups. As you progress, enemies will become more dangerous, but you will also unlock new weapons with which to dispatch them. Industria also has a strong narrative focus, and in between exploration sequences, you'll also find more story information about the world, either written down on notes that you find in the environment, or as part of in-game cutscenes. Now, normally I would try to break down the individual good and bad aspects of a game like Industria, but bear with me, because I think I actually have a very potent analogy that will bypass a lot of that. That essentially, Industria is what you get if you try to make Half-Life 2 with 1/10 of the budget and 1/4 of the ambition, which sounds kind of dismissive, and I don't mean it to be, but it's a very appropriate analogy for the type of game that this is. That what you have here is a narratively focused first-person shooter with a very strong emphasis on its dystopian sci-fi setting that, for whatever reason, whether it be time or resources, wasn't able to deliver more than just the bare minimum in terms of gameplay. For instance, the combat in Industria is very generic. You have the same basic pistol, machine gun, rifle, shotgun combo that you see in pretty much every other game of this type, and your arsenal is only sufficient because the enemies that you fight are just as generic. 80% of them are close-range robots whose only tactic is to run directly at you, and the few that do have long-range weapons are more than content to sit out in the open and wait for you to snipe them. The game's level design is also sadly underwhelming. It has a physics engine, and every now and then you might need to move a box around in order to reach a high ledge, but that is sadly the exception. Most of the time, you're making your way through completely linear environments only to flip a switch or unlock a door. There's a great example of what I'm talking about early on, where you find a broken crank and you need to use a chemistry set to make a rust remover in order to get it operational again. And there are 6 different compounds scattered throughout the environment, and you actually have to go around and find what you need in order to synthesize the item. And I remember thinking, oh, this is a neat little puzzle-solving element. I can't wait to see how I have to keep using this compounding system to come up with new and interesting chemicals or concoctions in order to solve future puzzles. And it turns out that no, this is a one-time deal, and this mechanic is never seen again.
Find something to remove the rust.
Game is also kind of short. Under 5 hours, you can beat it in 2 to 3 sittings, maybe 1 if you just power through. About the only thing that I can say is a standout in Industria is its visual design. It's a great mix of this bleak, abandoned urbanism mixed with this strange, intruding sci-fi element. All of the buildings, all of the furniture, all of the little visual details do a great job of showing you exactly what type of world that you're trapped in. And if nothing else, the developers did a great job in nailing down the tone and the setting of their game. In conclusion, I would give Industria 2 out of 4 stars and a maybe recommendation. If you're looking for a shooter with emphasis on combat or puzzle solving, there's not much of that here. But if you're interested in a quick little adventure with an emphasis on the story and setting, then this one might satisfy. Alright then, thanks for listening, till next time.